All right, this is my 1968 C10. This was my grandfather's truck. He bought it sometime in the early 80s at least. Him and my uncle, the reason I know that is him and my uncle put a different motor in it around 88 out of like an 82 Chevrolet. It was a 305 with a turbo 350 behind it. Wasn't anything special. That obviously I took it out and sold it. I got to run just good enough to take it out and sell it. Now this truck originally was a solid gold, no white top. You can see the markings on the firewall, which I wanted to keep, but sadly I'm gonna have decided I don't like how any of that looks, so I'm gonna paint it black. This is a factory AC in the dash truck. You can see where the AC vents go. It was originally a 307 custom 10. Drum brakes in the front and rear with vacuum assist power boost brakes. Sometime in the early 90s, he went through and kind of redid everything on it and painted the whole truck red. You can kind of see a little bit of the overspray like right here. And then not too long after that, he got rear-ended by a kid in a Trans Am, and it totaled the truck. He got hit on the driver's side about right here, and it shoved the entire bed of the truck into the back of it, the cab. You can see a little bit right here where the cab had hit. This was full of Bondo. I just got all the Bondo out of it, and it was literally a tear that they had been Bondoed over. But it had shoved the entire bed into the back of the cab. You can see where it knocked the spot. They went back and re-spot welded. I'm assuming that's what that is. Some area. He had it taken and put on a frame straightener, and I'm pretty sure that's what these marks here are, and right here are from them cutting, bending, and re-welding the frame back together. Now, after that, he drove it until 1999 when he passed away, and it hadn't been on the road since then. It's February 1st of 2023 right now. I got it and started trying to cut all the rust out of it that I could. I'm not doing by any means any kind of factory good enough job. I'm just doing my best. I cut out the cab corner that was rotted out. I'm putting in there. I've got the inner rocker on now, and I'm putting this one on. And as you can see through over there. I gotta do something about that too. That really, and then right here, that really is the only rust left in it. There was a little bit on the drip rails. I painted it already, but I've got to come back and I had to touch up right here. And then same spot on the other side. And I hadn't decided both sides of the window channeling right here. Rusted some. And I don't want to weld it because it's so thin, and I hadn't really decided what I'm going to do yet. All I did was seal it with a rust inhibitor primer. Just a flat primer that is supposed to stop some rust. This is literally the first thing I've ever painted, so it was not good, and don't count on it lasting forever. I am going to have to put a new steering column in it. It is seized up in here. The steering gear, I mean, it was bad already, according to my uncle. I have a lot of stuff to go in it, which I will update more and more on as I go. But this is where it's starting to go back together, so I wanted to start videos on it here. I'm about to tack this rocker in and put this door back on and go from there. Wish me luck, because this is going to be a lot. Oh, and I have all new suspension components. I have a set of rims out there that'll go from 6-lug, because it is a factory 6-lug truck. But it's drum. Speedway Motors ran a really good sale for a front disc brake conversion, and everything. I mean, the entire front suspension, all the tie rod ends, the ball joints, everything. It was a really good deal, but it was a 5-on-5 bolt pattern, which wasn't a big deal because I'm replacing this. This is a factory 12 bolt, and I have tried to scrape all the grease off of it to figure out what gear ratio it is. And despite my best effort and every number I found on there, I hadn't been able to figure it out. But I knew I was going to run it because of all the grease that was on it was coming out of the front pinion seal. And as much as it was on it, I bet the housing is pretty empty and it's pretty locked up. I'm sure that's just the brakes, but they're also drum. And I didn't want to leave those on there. I got an 8.8 out of a 1998 Mercury Mountaineer that was a 5.0 and had a 373 Positrack rear end with disc brakes. It's not here right now. But I'm gonna put it in here and do a C-notch because it's gonna be a lot lower. Right now it's sitting at factory height. I'm putting a 3.5 drop on it. It's gonna be 2-inch drop spindles, 1-inch springs, 1-inch drop springs. The back is gonna be 5-inch drop springs. Then I'm gonna C-notch it and put different bump stops, different panhard bar or track bar, whatever you want to call it. New bushings in the front of the trailing arms. I haven't decided if I'm going to replace that bracket right there yet or not, because they actually sell one that is tubular. That's really not that expensive, or it wasn't the last time I looked. But it's getting all new parts. I'm trying not to leave a single bolt. I mean, at this point, the things that are still together that aren't riveted have to come apart. I mean, the cab is not bolted to the frame. They're all out. It's getting new bushings for that. I have new weather stripping for everything. I'm just trying to stop the rust as much as I can. I really am not a paint and body guy, so it is definitely not going to get a pristine paint job. One of my children will have to do that if they ever decide to make it look any better than it is when I'm done with it. But all right, yeah, this is starting point. This is after many years of going to swap meets and buying and selling different things to get all original metal. I tried my best not to do any repops. These patch panels are going to be it. Everything else is going to be original metal off of another truck if it isn't off of this truck. Right now, the only thing that is still original is the cab and frame. When I got it, I'll put a little slideshow of pictures of it, but he hit a chain link fence, and starting about right here on top of the fender, it took out above the light, went down the hood, and it wasn't like super bad, but it was a bad crease that went all the way down, and you can see right about, well, you can't see it anymore because I replaced this door, but right here, it folded the entire cowl screen up onto the cab. It peeled back the door, ran through here, ripped the door handle off, and you can see right here on the cab, I am not messing with that. It's staying just like that. And came through, hooked the bed, tore the bed side into here, and then had a crease all the way down it. And then on the other side, which I still have both the front fenders to this truck that were on it, but neither one of them are original from being the original truck. But they were rusted. Right here was rusted out real bad on both sides. That side always real bad because the battery's over there, passenger side. And then the bottom of this door was just completely rusted out. Like you could put your finger through the bottom of the door on both sides. It had just been sitting for too long. And then on this bedside, I think was the only panel on the entire truck that didn't have a severe dent in it, and it had a dent. He had backed into something right above the brake light, had a golf ball sized dent that was like literally through 3 body lines. So I just did my best to try to find a lot better shape panels. They have dents and dings in them also, but they're not just like destroyed. They'll be easily body worked later if I wanted to go back and actually do a nice paint job on it, but right now, everything I'm worried about was stop and rust and then mechanical. Right now, the plan is I have a 99 2500 Chevrolet Silverado that has a Vortec 454 and a 4L80E in it that have both been rebuilt, and I have the paperwork on them. They got less than 5,000 miles on them, and that's what I plan on putting in this thing. I had a 454 truck when I was younger, had to sell it because I was going to school and needed a better vehicle, and I always said I was going to get another one. They are absolutely unaffordable now. It was a 90 model SS, and you can't even buy those right now for less than like 30 grand that are in decent shape or have the original motors in them anyway. And so I want a 454 truck, so that's what I'm doing. 454, 4-speed, 373 rear end, and I'm going to do 3.5 drop and probably around 18s or 20s. We'll see. But I have all the glass, all the rubber, all the suspension, and I'm going to probably paint that black. And I hadn't decided what color I'm going to do on the interior yet. I think I'm just going to do the black, the top of the dash black like it was from the factory, because the dash pad goes here. And then I am going to decide what color seat I'm going to do. I guess it really doesn't matter, because that's going to be the only thing that has any color is going to be the carpet and the seat. So I'll pick those two out and go from there. I'm going to do some more update videos as I go.